honestly think it's inspiring for players who find themselves, going through injury. I think it can definitely shift your perspective. So, what was the toughest part mentally for you, would you say?
Think for me, I've had quite a couple, especially with injuries. In 2023, my college team at BYU, we just had an international trip to Italy and Europe, and that was really, really fun.
Nice.
At the same time, during the summertime here, our coaches, they allow us international kids, if we get the opportunity to play international basketball, FIBA 3-on-3, 5-on-5, they let us to go to those tournaments. So I was fortunate enough to play in the women's series both times in Canada, one time in Edmonton, and the other time was in Montreal. So I played in those tournaments, and I think that was really good for me in terms of, having good tournaments there, building for the season coming up for college. And then I think it was during the preseason in 2023 where I tore my right ACL. And that was my first major injury that I've ever had in my career. So at that point, like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen or like what
Yeah.
was about to come. So during that initial injury, that was, I feel like my mental health was definitely in a better place because I felt like for me, like I had goals that I had set in timelines where I was like, okay, by like this month, like I'm gonna be running again and like getting myself stronger with my leg and building myself back up. So injury helped me in it, like in so many lessons. I felt like I grew a lot, but also
Nice.
kind of what I talked about with the academic side of things. I was in a position where I was like, okay, I'm injured now. I'm not playing during the season. Ultimately, what I did was I sped up my undergrad in communication sports media in 3 years instead of 4. So then I
Okay.
got my bachelor's in 2024, and then
Nice.
I started my master's in 2024. So I came back from that injury 2024, and I was getting excited, getting ready for the next season ahead.
Right.
And that's the year, I was building back and I played in the World Cup in Mongolia. I had a really great tournament there. I was the leading scorer again. Not that that matters, but the point is like I had a good tournament and that was again helping me build to get ready for the season.
Right.
And then same time frame a little bit with my first injury. I tore my left ACL in 2024. So then I was out back to back seasons.
Right.
And at that point, I felt like for me, that was a really, really hard time because, I'd just come back from the same injury. I knew already what was ahead, and I think it was just hard for me to just kind of build that motivation back up. But also
Yeah.
at the same time, my dad, who had to fly back to New Zealand, he had like major heart problems. And so he had to get open heart surgery. So I think a week after I tore my left ACL, I flew home to New Zealand to be with my dad and my family as he underwent his surgery. So I felt like at that point in my life, there were just like a lot of things that was just not going my way, not what I wanted and not what I
Yeah.
planned. And it took a lot, honestly, out of me to just kind of build myself back up from that. But, at the end of the day, kind of my perspective changed. I think my faith really helped me with my
Amazing.
religion and just kind of seeing the bigger picture. Like for me, it's like, okay, like, again, another season I'm off, like I can work on my masters. I end up
Yeah.
getting that in April this year. And then, my plan right now is to start my PhD with my last year of eligibility. So,
Yeah.
as much as it sucks and it was, really difficult, there's always something that, that's gonna be good, along, like, down the journey.
Yeah.
So that was a
Yeah.
again, that was a long explanation,
No, I
but I
love it.
think
I love it. Please. Please.
but I think for me, those are just especially during college, those have just been some really hard moments that I've had to overcome and, just really, really fight through the adversity,
Exactly.
and that took it definitely for me took a lot of growth, a lot of maturity, and yeah, just a lot of strength. But I feel like for me, in a way, I was kind of prepared for those moments, and I
Yeah.
think it's a big credit to my parents, especially my mom, with me at the start of my sporting journey, really just showing me how to be resilient and how to be strong and how to get through, tough times.